ramp up the testing. Currently, in order to be where we can move around more publicly, we have to change our testing up to 20,000 tests per week. Currently, we've been at about 10,000. We do have the test available to start ramping that up. Governor Ducey has put in an order for a blitz testing, and I'm happy to announce that Summit Healthcare has also been approved to do blitz testing. When they decide that day, they will let us know, but they have been approved, so we will be having more testing in our area. The results of those tests have to be less than 10% positive, and we need to have 14 days of consecutive decline or not increased, and that needs to continue for 11 to 15 days. Just want you to understand that we do have a lot of cases, new cases on the Navajo Nation. There was 162 new cases and 9 deaths yesterday on the Navajo Nation. Our current numbers that we have here, we have 712 cases in Navajo County, 7,648 cases here in Arizona, and there's been 71,000 tests. So when we look at the data and we go through the tests that are happening, it changes so quickly and so fast. And right now, about 11% of all the tests that are being taken, the people are being tested positive. And so we are going to see more cases as we ramp up the testing, and that will give us more data that we can work with. Just want to share with you, I'll have Justin share with you some of the changes that are going to happen here at the city and some of the things that we're going to be looking at.
Thank you, Mayor. So we just want to let our residents know that we're still open for business. We have available to our customers our drop box for utility bill payments. There's still the ability to do the online payments, and you can call City Hall if you have any trouble with either of those. We do ask that you try to set up your online account with Express Bill Pay. Makes it convenient for us and for you. You don't have to come. You don't have to put money in the drop box, things of that nature. You can still schedule an appointment for a building permit. We're doing those on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you can call City Hall to get scheduled for those. And then the library is continuing to do curbside service. And they're asking that you, when you pull in to pick up your order for curbside, that you open your trunk or the back of your vehicle. They'll put the books in there, and then it's a no contact type delivery. So from the city's perspective, we're still just working safe. We have many employees that are working from home, trying to do business as usual. For those that do have to come in, we're providing PPE. We're doing periodic wipe downs for the doors and common areas at City Hall, trying to keep everything safe and sanitary, and then maintaining our social distancing. Even if we have employees that are at City Hall for meetings, we're usually calling in on a conference call to avoid the face-to-face contact. And when we do have to speak, we're speaking at a distance like has been recommended. For those who are coming to City Hall, if you do have an appointment, we're requiring the employees to take temperatures of the customers that are coming in, just to make sure they're not sick. What we don't want to do is spread. We still want to try and accommodate all the businesses and customers as best we can, but we want to make sure that no one's sick when they come into City Hall. So those are some of the things we're doing at City Hall to stay safe.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just want people to understand that as we change here in Navajo County, and as we start to get closer back to that day when things will return back to a little bit more of a normal, we are going to have a new look of what the new normal is. We still need to establish protocols and procedures that will continue to help us thrive as a community. We will look different for a while, and we will be able to establish a new normal. But over the next week, we're going to work collectively as we work together with some of the new businesses. Starting May 4th, many of our retail businesses will be able to be open. In fact, almost all of the retail businesses can be open. Some will be open, the larger ones will be able to be open with social distancing measures, where the smaller boutiques, smaller shops will be open, but they'll be open by appointment. And so that appointment can be governed by how those business owners choose to take appointments, and people make appointments to shop. But then later in the week on May 8th, those small businesses will then be open if they have put the proper protocol in. They're doing the proper sanitation things and they've established their protocol, then they will be able to be open to the public on a regular basis. So that's exciting news for some of our smaller stores and shops that will be able to open. As far as the other group of barbers, hair salons, and gyms, that is an area that the governor is currently working on. They're working for some guidelines that they'll be able to establish, and they're working on those quickly. Yesterday, we had a call with the governor with many business owners who were on that call statewide, and that call lasted for about an hour and a half. And the governor took questions and answered, and I just want to share some of the things with it. He says he wants us to focus as a community on what we can do more than what we cannot do. And I want people of Show Low to understand that if you drove down to Phoenix or looked at some of the other communities or cities, they're shut down a whole lot more than what the city of Show Low is. We have been able to have things up here. People have not closed voluntarily, some of the businesses. And so we are at more normal operating than what some of the larger cities and towns are. Many businesses here have been innovative and have been created new opportunities and ways that they're doing business. Telemedicine has been a big game changer, as that will continue to be something that we will change in the future, and being able to call a doctor and be able to have diagnostics done on a patient. And I think that's saved a lot of people and kept a lot of people from being sick. The governor wants to help people understand that the governor did not close any churches in his executive order. Churches have voluntarily taken it upon themselves to close, and he praised many of the churches for doing so. And that was one of the big things that has saved a lot of the high spike of the cases, because some of those gatherings stopped early, well before the governor even asked us to start staying at home. What he will start to do is opening groups at a time. They're currently working with the restaurant business, and we want to see we will have an established guidelines for restaurants on May 12th, the governor said. And by May 12th, there will be guidelines as to how they can open and when they will be able to open. He shared with us that the restaurants will not open at a 20% occupancy rate. It'll open at a much larger occupancy rate so that they'll be able to have a better chance of making a profit as soon as they open. But there are some workings that have to happen and some guidelines that will need to be in place for that to take place. But also we need to work on people just being able to have the confidence of being able to go back to restaurants and in restaurant dining. Eye doctors, all eye doctors now can see patients on a regular basis. They can do regular eye exams and do business as normal currently. So that's something that has changed. The governor he's working hard on the hotel industry in the state. One of the big factors there is the swimming pools that attract a lot of people this time of year. And right now it is a very challenging of how they're going to open some of the resort pools, which will help attract more people, but they hope to have that information coming out quickly. So in the next 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of information that will come out, and we'll try to share it with you as soon as we receive it. We'll try to update people as quickly as possible. I want you to understand too, that's going to be a little challenge for people of employment. The unemployment rate in Arizona on a normal level was about 17,000 people on a regular basis were unemployed. Currently, we have 400,000 people on unemployment. And I understand that we're receiving, some of those people are receiving quite a bit more than what they would make. And we just encourage people to be willing to return back to their jobs and be willing to work. I want to also share with people that there is Senator Sinema has worked very hard to assure that if there is a small business owner or there is somebody who's not being able to get unemployment, because when you sign up for unemployment, they'll say you haven't done certain things. And so the guidelines for the state right now will reject your unemployment application. You have to make application every week. Continue doing that. And if you're having any problems, Senator Sinema gave out this website. It's Casework, CASEWORK, Casework at her name, cinema.senate.gov. So casework at cinema.senate.gov. If you'll send her an email, she has 16 people working on her staff that will reach out to you and help you any way that's possible to get either a PPP loan, because there are still some funds available there, or to make sure that you're able to apply for unemployment. So she doesn't want anybody to suffer as a result that there isn't some type of assistance and help happening. So those are some big things that are important for people to know. And you can also contact us here at the city. You can also contact Stephanie Ray at the county, and we will help and assist in those measures. What are some of the things, Justin, that we're going to open up here soon at the city?
Yeah, so based on the call yesterday, or the press conference with the governor on Wednesday, we feel like we're safe to reopen our dog park. So we'll get that open back up today. And we're also going to remove the caution tape from the pavilions so people can get out there and recreate in our parks. But we do ask that you still maintain social distancing. If you're going to be using the pavilions, that you maybe bring your own sanitary wipes and kind of sanitize the area before you take full access there, and still limit your numbers. We don't want 100 people showing up to the old pavilion to get a little bit too crowded and potentially spread anything that way. So we are trying to relax those and reopen those. The items that'll still be closed, the playgrounds, we just can't stay up with the sanitary requirements that would be needed to keep those safe. So the playgrounds and the courts will still be locked down until everything's released. One thing I would like to mention too, Mayor, is our council meeting on May 5th. We didn't have much for the agenda on that meeting, so we went ahead and moved the one item we did have to the second meeting in May. So we'll only have one council meeting in May, and I definitely wanted to mention that. And if I could, I'd like to talk a little bit about what we're doing for the excess pickup. That will still go ahead with waste management, picking up your bagged items. Typically, people are using this for pine needles, but the items have to be bagged and placed on the street either the night before by 6 a.m. And that'll start on Monday, May 4th, and it'll go with your normal garbage pickup schedule. So if your garbage is normally picked up on Wednesday, you can put your stuff out Tuesday night or Wednesday morning before 6. And then we're also moving ahead with our Project Clean Sweep. You'll see the flyers in the upcoming utility bill. We'll start with the green waste for 2 weeks on May 11th out at Dirty Deeds. Then we'll have the bulky item pickup, where the city crews come around and pick up your larger items that are too big for the excess garbage, like refrigerators, things of that nature. And then we'll have the free dump at Lone Pine Transfer Station June 1st through the 6th. You will need to show proof of residency. If you have your City of Shola utility bill, that will be adequate there. So those are some things we have going on. We did have to cancel the car show that was scheduled for June 6th. That's not a city event, but the vendor that was putting on the event could not get insurance coverage due to the risk of spreading the COVID-19. So that event has been canceled. And then the last thing I would like to cover, Mayor, is just a reminder to our residents to complete the 2020 census. A lot of our federal and state grants are based on our population totals. So if we don't have accurate counts, we'll get less money than our fair share from the government on the grant. So please, if you haven't completed your census yet, get out there and do that. You can do it online. If you have any questions, call City Hall and we can give you some guidance on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just in wrapping things up here, I just want people to understand that, this is tough for everyone. And it's tough, mostly challenging for some of our individual owners of businesses here, especially our salons, our barber shops, our beauty shops, as well as our gyms and our athletic clubs. And those are the people that we feel very much for, as well as our restaurants and our hospitality industry and the hotels. Maybe whatever you can do to, maybe sometime you just wanted to go spend the night at a hotel in town. That's an idea that maybe you could help them out a little bit. Just get away from the house and just treat it like a getaway. Go to Pine Top, or maybe people from Pine Top could come to Shoalo. Just things that we can look out and realize that those businesses need to be here when we do open up for tourism. We do need to understand that the forests are closed as far as to fire. They're open to recreate in, but there's no campfires allowed in the forest. The forests have shut that campfires down completely. I want to just help people understand that as your mayor, I really wish we were open. I really wish we didn't have to go through this. I'm a member of the executive committee for the League of Cities and Towns. I sit on a body of 26 different mayors, and we have conversation. There are mayors who wish we were able to take local control and make these decisions for ourselves. But right now we are under the guidance and under the direction and under the executive order of our governor. And in his order, it says that no county, city, or town may make or issue any order, rule, regulation that conflicts with the policy, directives, or intent of this executive order. And so we'll continue to abide by the laws of the state. We'll continue to do what we can. But as your mayor, I'll do everything I can to help you get the funds, the resources. We're continually advocating that we are able to receive federal money locally to our cities and counties directly and not go through the state. So we have that opportunity. So far, we have reached out to all of our representatives, and we'll continue to advocate for that. We'll continue to keep you informed of the things that are happening in our communities. And I just want to thank you for your support. Thank you for the opportunity and the way that you've behaved through this pandemic. This is something that's never happened before. There's nobody that has the answers for this, but we will get through this. We will be stronger. We are starting to see an ease, and if we'll continue to flatten this curve over the next 2 weeks, it is going to be very crucial that we continue to do the things that we've done and to continue our social distancing. So I just want to thank you all, and it's May days, and I just hope you enjoy the great weather, get an opportunity to get out, do some exercise, do some walking, do some hiking. We have wonderful trails, and just enjoy the outdoors and stay safe. Remember the sanitation things that we're asking you to do, because that will help keep the spread of this in. And just if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call personally or stop by City Hall or email us or call us. We will respond to you. And I just want to say thank you, and may you be safe, and thank you so much. Thank you, Justin, for being with us today.
Thank you, Mayor.